Good morning and welcome. I'm Kathy Deligianis, member of the governing board here at the Unitarian Universalist Church in Ruston. I'm so happy to see so many of you here. Whether you're on Zoom or here in the sanctuary, we're so glad to have you with us. No matter how old or how young you are, wherever you are in your spiritual journey, however you identify and whomever you love, please know that you're welcome here. Today is one of my favorite services of the year. It's our Music Sunday. Music director Cynthia Young and our very talented musicians and vocalists have put together an amazing service, and I'm so excited to hear it. Before we start, I have a couple of announcements. First of all, we hope you can join us next Sunday. After the service, we have our annual picnic and our Welcome Summer. Please RSVP today. There will be an email going out with a link, and you can also find information on our website. We need to get a head count so we can plan the food. Secondly, after the service, we have two meetings today. In the sanctuary, Reverend Scott and Bruce Anderson will be holding an information session to share details about space planning, space and storage planning in the church. And then secondly, in the boardroom, Barbara and David Okerson, who are serving as voting delegates at our upcoming General Assembly, will be talking about the items to be voted on. So that will be in the boardroom over there. All right, now as we get ready, let us center ourselves for worship and listen to the prelude by our bell choir.
to our music service in the year 2023. Our opening words come from the ancient 11th century Persian mystic Rumi. Why is there always music in this house? Here is a treasure the world could not contain, a house of love with no limits. Come in. The beloved is here. Don't sit outside wondering. Here is all mercy and love. Our opening hymn, When in Our Music.
Good morning. Our opening hymn is number 36, When in Our Music. So please rise in body or spirit and join us. When in our music God is glorified and adoration leaves no room for pride. It is a song the whole creation cried. Alleluia. How often may music we have found a new dimension in the world of sound. As worship moves us to a more profound. Alleluia. So as the church in liturgy and song, in faith and love through centuries of wrong, born witness to the truth in every tongue. Alleluia. Let every instrument be tuned for praise. Let all rejoice who have a voice to raise. And may God give us faith to sing always. Alleluia.
Good morning.
Good morning.
My name's Lesley Tyson. I'm your worship associate. Today on our Music Sunday, we like to celebrate with this chalice lighting the beautiful synergy we experience every Sunday in this church of words coming to poetry, but conjoined with music to touch our souls. This is The Song We Sing by Robert Bode. I'm going to ask you to keep it in mind. You will hear this later. The song we sing is meant to bring a moment of soft weather where care and worry lift away and we can breathe together. We seldom find a quiet space in public, almost never. Yet here we sit and know we fit and we belong together. So close your eyes and feel your hearts begin to beat together and know that we, in harmony, will join the song forever.
Here at UUCR, we have a tradition of singing our covenant together every Sunday. Love is the spirit of this church. So if you are joining us from Zoom, the words will appear in your chat box, and here in the sanctuary, they'll be up on the screen. I would like to invite you to remain seated as we sing our covenant together. And if you are here for the first time today, we hope you will accept this song as our blessing to you.
Yes? Are we okay? All right, good morning. Yes, if the one voice ensemble will come on up, and if you are feeling young of body or young of spirit and would like a place on the floor, we have some space right over here. So if you can sit down in front of me today. So, Vivian, so over on this side. Great. Well, welcome, welcome. Have you ever heard a very young child singing their own song, a song of their own making? Or maybe you remember doing this yourself. Anyone? I'm here, I've seen at least one head nodding. Yes. It may seem completely meaningless if you listen to the words. And the tune may be one that no one has ever heard before. But you can tell the song means a lot to the child singing it because of the enthusiasm in their voice and perhaps in their body. Have you ever felt the rhythm and music bubbling up inside of you? Maybe you were experiencing emotions too strong to hold inside, emotions that went beyond mere words. Many of us probably haven't acted on this except when we're alone in the shower or the car. Anyone like that? For me, it's the car. However, some of the people here, both children and adults, have found the courage to share the feelings and the beauty of music throughout the year here at UUCR.
This is the sound of one voice, one spirit, one voice, the sound of one who makes a choice.
If someone joins a choir, they learn to sing with other people. They learn to follow the same beat and the same notes and sing the same words. They learn to follow a director like Cynthia, and they spend time rehearsing with the choir. It takes a lot of practice to sing together, and it requires listening to one another.
This is the sound of voices too, the sound of me singing with you, helping each other to make it through.
As someone continues to sing with the choir, they learn to sing with other people who are following different notes and singing different words. They learn how to combine their voice with many other voices. They become better and better at harmonizing with others, and they learn ways to include all voices to form one beautiful song.
This is the sound of voices three, singing together in harmony, surrendering to the mystery.
This is similar to what we do here in community at UUCR. Once in a while, we may sing our own song, doing our own thing in our own way. Just once in a while, we may have a solo, singing all by ourselves in front of everyone. However, most important of all is singing together, working together, including all voices to make one big, beautiful sound. Here, in this community, we support one another with caring words, encouragement, helping hands. We celebrate and grieve together, and we work together to accomplish much more than any one person could do alone. Today, we celebrate music and community. And if you'd like to stay up front to listen to the full song, you may do that. Let us enjoy the harmony of our singers, our musicians, and our community. One Voice by the Waylon Jennies.
This is the sound of one voice, one spirit, one voice, the sound of one who makes a choice. This is the sound of one voice. This is the sound of one voice. This is the sound of voices too. The sound of me singing with you, helping each other to make it through. This is the sound of voices too. This is the sound of voices too.
This is the sound of voices three, singing together in harmony, surrendering to the mystery. This is the sound of voices three. This is the sound of voices three. This is the sound of all of us, singing with love and the will to trust. Leave the rest behind, it'll turn to dust. This is the sound of all of us. This is the sound of all of us. This is the sound of one voice, one people, one voice, a song for every one of us. This is the sound of one voice. This is the sound of one voice.
Thank you so much for the beautiful music. And children are now invited to return to their seats to enjoy music for the rest of the service or to leave for activities. We'll now sing you out. It's up to you.
My name is Randy Newton. I'm one of those rare ducks, a lifelong Unitarian Universalist, having grown up in the church. And part of what has always connected me whenever I've traveled from new church to new church as I've moved around is joining the choir and getting involved in that way. It helps me get really connected and part of the congregation. And little did I know it, well, it took me farther than I ever thought it would, because a couple weeks ago, because of my singing in the choir, I was able to sing at Carnegie Hall. And I think we might have some images of that, which might come up. Now, why am I mentioning this prior to our joys and concerns? Well, the piece that we did there was composed by Cliff Harden, a Unitarian Universalist who happens to live in the area, happens to be the musical director over at River Road Church, and happens to be the composer of the music that Diane will be playing for the Joys and Concerns. In addition, he's well enough known and respected at this point. He's also leading the choir at General Assembly in about a week and a half or 2 weeks from today. So that's why I'm mentioning it. It's not to toot my own horn, but praise Cliff Harden and the Requiem that we sang. There is a YouTube of when we sang it at River Road if you're ever interested. But thank you.
I worked with Cliff for 12 years at River Road, and it was a joy and a pleasure. And this Requiem piece is just absolutely stunning piece. So now is the time in our service when we share our joys and concerns with one another as a congregation. And if you are joining us remotely this morning, we encourage you to light a candle, virtual or real, wherever you are, to mark what is on your heart. And if you wish to write something in the chat and the Zoom, you may do so, but please do remember that that becomes public. And now it's time for members of the congregation who are here with us at Whaley Avenue to come forward and place a stone or stones in the water for each joy or concern that they have. And they may take a stone from around the vessel if they wish to take home with them to remind them what's on their heart. Let our ritual, both at home and here, begin. Let us be one in spirit. Spirit of life and love, which so faithfully animates this troubled and weird creation sometimes of ours, we are grateful for this community that is with us in both times of joy and sorrow. And we especially hold in our hearts this morning all who are facing any hardship or difficulty, those who are grieving, facing loss, illness, or disability. In particular this morning, I'd have your hearts go out to Dan Brandell. He is recovering slowly from surgery and other complications. He's at a rehab facility in Aldie, Virginia for the next week or so. Our continuing love goes out to Dan and Joanne in this time of recovery. Whether shared here this morning or held silently in our hearts, may our joys be multiplied in community, and may all who gathered here this hour find comfort and calm. Amen.
The second Sunday of each month is our dedicated offering to an organization chosen by the Social Action and Justice Committee. All of today's offering, except for pledge payments, which should be clearly marked, will go to Remote Area Medical, or RAM. RAM's goal is to prevent pain and alleviate suffering by providing free, quality health care to those in need. They do this by delivering free dental, vision, and medical services to underserved and uninsured individuals, including those in rural Virginia. Since RAM was founded in 1985, over 196,000 volunteers, comprised of professional practitioners as well as general support staff, have treated more than 900,000 individuals, delivering almost $190 million worth of free healthcare services. You may make your donation at the link in the chat box and on your order of service, entering your donation to the charity of the month. You can also write a check to UUCR with the words RAM in the memo line and put it in the offering basket, or mail it to the church. And of course, cash donations are always accepted. Thank you so much for your generous support of this very important organization.
I'm Sonia Charles. I'm a fairly new member here. As I've told some of you, I'm a recovering Baptist PK and PGK. My father and two grandfathers were Baptist preachers. And of course, in every church, my mother was the music director, unpaid at that time. But I haven't by choice been in a church, with the exception of family marriages and baptisms, for about 50 years. So fairly recently, after my husband of 40 years died, I woke up one Sunday morning, which happened to be New Year's morning, thinking that it was about time some kind of ritual and structured tradition was in my life. But I didn't want anything with any kind of judgmental ideology or strict adherence to some old white guy's rules. I remembered going to a Unitarian Christmas Eve service with my family in California many years ago. I loved that service, and I loved the people there, and it stayed with me because of its lack of dogma and its inclusiveness and kindness. So I Googled Unitarian churches in the area, my new residence in Herndon, and found UUCR. The first service I attended was led by Kara Fortner on New Year's Day. I was sold from the beginning, roughly, no matter your ethnicity, how you identify, who you love, you are welcome here. I was sold. Then the choir sang. And I was immediately struck with how beautifully Cynthia directed complicated choral work and how polished it was. It drew me in, and later I asked Cynthia when auditions were held for the choir, and she gave me her megawatt smile and said, "Just join us." Since I'm new in the area, within a few weeks and a few Juliet dinners, I felt I'd found an accepting, non-judgmental community with music that just makes me happy to be a part of. I hadn't sung anything but the national anthem at a football game in over nearly 50 years. And slowly, Cynthia is pulling some of what voice is left out of me. Music nourishes me. And in addition to my happiness in singing again, my children who live nearby and not so nearby have either Zoomed or attended church here just to watch Mom being Mom again. Thank you all. Thank you very much. I have gratitude.
Hi, my name is Kate Sheppard. I've been a member of UUCR for almost as long as I can remember. In a lot of ways, being a writer and being a musician are very similar. There's the learning curve, the frustration, the hours and hours of making horrible art until after many years you've worn calluses into the tips of your fingers for so long and so deliberately that beauty has to form, giving way under the sheer magnitude of your effort. There's the exhaustion, the repetitive strain injuries, the drudgery of telling yourself just one more time, I'll rework this just one more time, when it's never one, it's always 2 or 3 or 30. Inevitably, wonderfully, there is the unspeakable satisfaction of making something as perfect as you can and showing it to the world. The difference, though, is this. If you had asked me last year if I was a musician, I probably would have said no. The 7 recitals, divided between viola and piano, the dozen church services I played, preludes and offertories and postludes for, the regional orchestras, the youth symphony, none of it mattered. I didn't feel like a musician. Everywhere I went, I was haunted by the idea that I didn't belong there, that the judges at my audition had made a mistake letting me in, that I wasn't good enough to play with these masters of music. I've always felt like a writer, though. Somehow, when I wrote, it was easy to be the worst author in the room, because even in the ugly stories you create, friends and collaborators will find a thread of shimmery promise in it. When I believed I was the worst musician in the room, there was no hidden beauty or worth in scratchy notes or misshifts. I made myself an outsider, feeling that no real musician would want to talk to someone who didn't even know her 3-octave scales. The truth, though, was not that I was a worse musician or a better writer. The truth was that I had something as a writer that I was missing as a musician: community. I've been a member of UUCR for nearly as long as I can remember. In fact, UUCR played a big part in getting me into music. In 2nd grade, I came here every week to play in the bell choir, excited to swing around the biggest bell of the set, even if I couldn't read a single note on the staff. But this year, after a few years spent sporadically coming to services, I started performing on a semi-regular basis, sharing my many years of practice with the church. It was the first time I was welcomed with truly open arms, knowing I was welcome to perform and that people enjoyed it, excepting, of course, my parents, but I think there might have been some bias there. I know I can ask questions and make suggestions like an equal, because here I am an equal. I'm reminded of that almost every time I come to perform. People that I admire compliment me and my music, stopping to chat with me while I pour a cup of coffee in the foyer. Maybe I'm not the best, but now I'm realizing that best isn't the goal. I've already worked hard, and now my only job is to laugh, make beautiful music, and find those shimmery threads. This experience, this joy that it's brought me, reminds me of a time a few years ago when my wayward friends and I decided to write novels for National Novel Writing Month. I think only 2 of us finished, and many of us wrote stories that we'd never take a second look at, but the shimmer wasn't in the words. It was in the dedication and the upward climb, in the people we came and the good times we had doing what we loved. The hours of toil melted into something fun because we were doing it together. I am a writer and a musician. I have worked equally hard at both, and I know hundreds of others who have worked too, at something they may not have mastered. But we have worked all the same, and we are writers and musicians and artists, all of us, as long as we are together, doing everything we can. Thank you.
Kate, those words were beautiful. I hope I can show some shimmer today. But it will definitely not be perfect. And that's perfect. This song is from Moana, which is my favorite Disney movie, and we'll see how far we go.
at the edge of the water, long as I can remember, never really knowing why. I wish I could be the perfect daughter, but I come back to the water, no matter how hard I try. Every turn I take, every trail I track, every path I make, every road leads back to the place I know where I cannot go, where I long to be. See the line where the sky meets the sea, it calls me, and no one knows how far it goes. If the wind in my sail on the sea stays behind me, one day I'll know. If I go, there's just no telling how far I'll go. Oh, 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 oh. Go, oh, 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 oh. Go, oh, 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 oh. Go, go. I've been, I know everybody on this island seems so happy on this island. Everything is by design. I know everybody on this island has a role on this island, so maybe I can roll with mine. I can lead with pride, I can make us strong, I'll be satisfied if I play along. But the voice inside sings a different song. What is wrong with me? See the light as it shines on the sea, it's blinding, but no one knows how deep it goes. And it seems like it's calling out to me, so come find me and let me know what's beyond that line. Will I cross that line? See the line where the sky meets the sea, it calls me, and no one knows how far it goes. If the wind in my sail on the sea stays behind me, one day I'll know how far I'll go, how far I'll go.
Sometimes it takes us a moment to set up our musical things. So I would just like to briefly say how grateful I am for this community offering this wonderful day to lift up their music program every single year, and to say thank you to all our wonderful musicians who provide us music all year long. And especially today, our Handbell Ensemble, all our beautiful soloists, Kate and Kara and Jeff, our choir, of course, and our percussion section, Henry, and again, Jeff, and our accompanist, Diane. Thank you. And I think it's fun to get all of you joining in. Our next piece is called Lead with Love by Melanie DeMore. And Melanie always says that music is not just for listening, it's also for everyone to participate and feel the song together. And you've probably read, I'm sure, about the scientific research that when people sing together, their hearts start to beat as one. And those are the lyrics that the choir is going to sing in a little bit that you also heard in the chalice lighting. So I'd like to invite you to join in with us the next song. The choir will come forward. Thank you, choir. You can come forward and stand here in an arc in front. We're going to mix up in mixed formation this morning. And we're going to teach you a song. The lyrics will appear up here on the screen. Oh, there they are for you already, Lead with Love. And we're going to start by teaching the whole room part one of the song. So can we have a deep breath? So we're going to sing it for you once, and then we will sing it together. 1, 2, 3. You gotta put one foot in front of the other. Lead with love. B flat, not a D flat. Here we go. 1, 2, 3. You gotta put one foot in front of the other and lead with love. Put one foot in front of the other and lead with love. You gotta put one foot in front of the other and lead with love. Put one foot in front of the other and lead with love. You gotta put one foot in front of the other and lead with love. Put one foot in front of the other and lead with love. That's awesome. The next part goes. Ready? Here we go. Right on it. 1, 2, 3, 4. One foot, one foot, one foot in front of the other one. One foot, and lead with love. You try it. Here we go. One foot, one foot, one foot in front of the other one. One foot, one foot, one foot, and lead with love. Got it? Excellent. So let's try this part of the room. You all are going to be the 1 foot group, okay? Led by this part of the choir. And over here, you all are going to be the you gotta put group. Are you ready? And we're going to put it together. So this side of the room starts. You gotta put 1 foot, then you come in. Okay, let's give it a try. 1, 2, 3. You gotta put 1 foot in front, 1 foot, 1 foot in front. 1 foot in front, 1 foot, and lead with love. You gotta put 1 foot in front, 1 foot, 1 foot, and lead with love. 1 foot in front, 1 foot, and lead with love. Lift up your voice. Lift up your voice. Come join the song. We're going to sing a song we've been working on especially for this day. It's called The Song We Sing. The music is by Jacob Navarud, and the poem is by Robert Bode. And Lesley read this for you as the chalice lighting. And before we sing, I'm just going to reread one stanza. So close your eyes and feel your hearts begin to beat together, and know that we, in harmony, will join the song forever.
Well, taking a breather, that was a lot. My name is Sarah Lott. I am a newer friend here. And music has always been an essential part of my life. My parents encouraged both my brother and I to read and play musical instruments early on. I started piano around 6 years old, began violin in 4th grade, and added clarinet in 5th grade before deciding that practicing for 3 instruments is perhaps overdoing it. I continued with violin through high school, but honestly, my favorite instrument wasn't any of these. My favorite instrument has always been my voice. Singing is an important spiritual practice for my everyday life. When I can't sleep, when I'm excited, when I'm upset, when I'm studying, whatever the situation, I can find a song for that moment. Or perhaps it's a playlist, since I often don't stop singing after just one song. Singing is a tool to help me feel, express, and process whatever thoughts and emotions I may be experiencing. Expression in song is a kind of catharsis or meditation that forces me to get out of my head, breathe, connect with my body and the energy that I'm bringing to that moment. Of course, the energy of music is also something we share and experience in community. Music, of course, has the power to connect us deeply, its energy expressing across cultural boundaries. Here at UUCR, I've been impressed with the number of talented musicians in our congregation. You just have to look at the lineup today. Moreover, I'm excited by the many ways that we can participate in music here. Cynthia and the music ministry joyfully, emphasis on joyfully, welcomes us to participate in choir, handbells, children's choir, cabaret events, and more. Cynthia is a really gifted leader, and I've appreciated the patience, encouragement, and inclusivity that she and other music members bring to our music ministry. I look forward to continuing to sing with the choir, and of course, welcome more of you to join us. The other reason that I love coming and singing here is how our music expresses and embodies our UU values. For example, those beautiful words by Robert Bode in our last song. Here we sit and know we fit, and we belong together, for we are home. To close, I have a reading by the Reverend Don Shea Cooley, Into the World Singing. Let us go out into the world singing. Let us go out into the world singing songs that proclaim liberty, songs that turn ashes into garlands, songs that bind up the afflicted and those who mourn, songs that, like oats, have roots that go deep and stand strong. Let us go out into the world singing. We know these songs. They vibrate through time in our very souls. They are the songs that give us life. They are the songs that give us meaning. They are the songs that give us purpose. Now it is our turn to take these life-giving songs out into the world. Let us go now, singing these songs with voices deep and strong. And may the world join us in praise and in celebration and in love. Amen.
Before we sing our closing hymn, I would just like to additionally thank 2 outgoing music committee members who have done a fantastic job for the past 2 years, and I want to thank them for helping me create this music program, Jill and Jeff Lower. Thank you so much for your service. Our closing hymn is number 309, Earth is Our Homeland. So please rise in body or spirit and join us.
From
And now, soon, may you leave this place with music ringing in your heart and with a new bounce in your step. Yes, our world, our nation is still full of trouble and tumult, and there is much work for us to do to make things right. But this Sunday, filled with music and song, may it continue to work its healing magic in our heart, bringing calm and joy and renewed strength and hope for our living life with abundant goodness and gratitude. Amen.
We extinguish this flame, but not the light of hope and truth, the warmth of community, nor the fire of commitment. These we carry forth in our hearts until we are together again.
Cynthia of the choir would like to thank you. We have a small gift for you. Thank you so much for making us sound wonderful. We really enjoy working with you.
Thank you, Cynthia. Thank you, everyone who participated in creating such a beautiful music service today. We invite congregants attending worship on Zoom to join for our virtual coffee hour after the service to discuss the service theme. And we hope you use the chat box as a virtual receiving line. Those here in person are invited to join us for coffee and tea in the East Foyer. And also, as a reminder, we have 2 separate sessions after the service here in the sanctuary. Reverend Scott and Bruce Anderson will talk about storage space and closet plans.
Ring a bell.
And then in the boardroom, Barbara and David Okerson will talk about upcoming votes at the UUA General Assembly. So thank you all, and enjoy the rest of your day.